Hey guys, Steve Tan here. So in this video, we're gonna cover how we set up our logistics and fulfillment center in China, okay? So this part is not recommended for people who's doing less than like 4 to 500,000, okay? I would highly suggest you set this up if you're doing at least 500,000 and above, okay? Because there's a lot of advantages to having your own fulfillment and center in China. One of the main reasons would be let me just go through them with you here, okay? So as I mentioned, it's ideal for people doing at least 500k to $1 million per month. But I have still seen people still go through a lot of other sourcing agents or 3PL companies to help you do that. But it's fine, it's still good, you still can manage. But for me personally, I liked it in-house. Because it's really not too hard to set things up for yourself, okay? So if you do not like to have your own warehouse, you could just work with a 3PL company and kind of have them work on your behalf, something like your own in-house team. That works as well, okay? But let's see. Okay, if you're doing anything less than 4 to 500,000 per month, probably you could start off a smaller scale, okay? Start at a smaller scale, but you do not need the full-fledged in-house team, especially when things are still not stable for you, okay? One of the best benefits of having your own warehouse in China is the processing time, okay? Usually all the big AliExpress sellers or agents, they usually take at least 3 to 5 days to kind of process your order out to the shipping companies, right? But it takes about 3 to 5 days for them to process, and takes another 3 to 5 days to get to the customs, and another 2 weeks to get to your customer. So that is why it's taking so long, right? The main reasons of having issues with long shipping times is because from your order is not being processed ASAP, right? So that if you have your own 3PL company that's working with you, you can give them KPIs that you want, how long before your order has to be shipped out when the order has been sent to the 3PL company, right? Okay, and if you have your own in-house team, that's even easier. You could set clear goals that any orders that comes in within comes into the warehouse has to be shipped out within 24 hours if they are in stock, right? Okay, so usually I'm sure people doing 500k and above, you definitely have a few hot selling products, and sometimes hot selling products sells out so quickly that you have a big backlog of search of orders that you have to fulfill, and the inventory is not there yet, so you will have an influx of 5 to 10,000 orders that you need to ship out within a few days because it has already been delayed so long, right? So for example, in our case, we have one product that we did before that we have 15,000 units back ordered, and we haven't shipped them out yet, right? So it came in everything in the next few days in one shot, right? It has been delayed for about 10 days, from the customers that purchased. And if we are doing this the standard kind of supplier shipping out for you, drop shipping it for you, I bet this is gonna take at least at least 3-4 weeks for them to ship out everything, because they do bear in mind they still have other customers they have to work with, they have to fulfill their orders as well, and it really depends on your relationship with them to when they will prioritize your orders, right? So but if it's all in-house, if you're working directly with a 3PL company, that the whole situation might be different. You'll be able to process the orders pretty quickly, and you'll be more prepared for a surge of large orders probably Black Friday, Q4 seasons, and probably any shopping or discount days, So that is why we are still running our own warehouse team in China, because it's just kind of we're really used to having all these perks in place, okay? But do bear in mind, it's not necessary for smaller volume sellers. When you're small, just try to keep your team lean, kind of make it clean and efficient, right? And one of the main reasons is why, because you might not have so much capital to get everything set up, but once you start building positive good cash flow, once you start selling more in different kind of niches, or probably you're killing it in one niche, then make sure this is under your radar, okay? So the logistics side is for us is pretty simple. You know, we don't actually, to be honest, we don't know like the nitty gritty details of how the whole warehouse has to run, how they like process the things like, you know, the printing of the labels. You know, you need to find someone who's good, right? You need to find someone who's better than you, someone who's inside, like, you know, who has managed or like a warehouse, or like who's like the warehouse manager, logistics center manager or something, right? So basically this guy we hired from China who has like over 10 years of experience, and he's only like, you know, 8,000 RMB per month, which is like, you know, like that's about 1,500 US dollars. Of course there's still bonuses and like, you know, overtime surcharges for this manager, but this guy basically takes care of everything we have in our like Jiangsu warehouse, right? So if you're looking to hire someone in China, like definitely go through local hiring websites like, you know, 51job.com. You know, these are kind of like local hiring websites for like China people. So like we found our guy from there, and we, you know, had a few meetings, kind of like had a few phone calls as well, kind of prior to like kind of gauge what kind of like experience that this guy have. So basically after having like, you know, a lot of face to face, because since I'm in China, right, it's easy for me to meet him face to face. You know, I also like got someone like my friend to help me kind of interview him a little bit more on the like, you know, the like day-to-day operation kind of like things, and how this guy will be able to kind of like help us scale efficiently, you know, in days of like, you know, huge surge of orders, right? So this guy basically manages all the other like guys. The rest of the guys would be like, you know, printing of the labels, pick pack guys, pick pack ship, you know, going back and forth with our procurement staffs to make sure like when's the next batch of products is gonna come in. So like, you know, if you're just starting out, this might seem really complicated. So like this is here for people that's more advanced, right? You need to have like people like pick pack ship guys, you need to have like, you know, people printing the labels, you need to have the logistics manager to help you structure and set up the process flows, just like the video that I've shared with the people in the group, right? I've shared with you guys like how the warehouse looks like, how's the process, how does it look like, right? So like that's pretty much it for this one, just a logistics manager, and the rest would be like just really normal guys. And these guys you could hire for like, you know, probably about 2-3 thousand RMB per month, which is about like 400 to 500 US dollars. Okay, these guys basically just pick the product, pack the product with whatever ship that's the customer ordered, and it's good to go. Okay, so another perk that you have having your own like, you know, in-house or like 3PL companies is that you could do a lot of like, you know, offline marketing. So you could do like, you know, leaflets, or like people to like your page, or sign up for an email, or like, you know, extra bonuses to get. So you know these guys are responsive to like your marketing. Okay, so like these are all you could do, like branding, kind of like, you know, unboxing experience. All these are only possible if you have like if you're working with 3PL companies, you have your own logistics or warehouse company in like China. So only then will be all this possible. Okay, but as I mentioned, not necessary when you're just starting out, but good to have when you're scaling up your business. Okay guys, so that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.